Because of them, 5 million people do not have polio. Because of them, families will not have to beg for a meal tonight. Because of them, thousands of high schoolers will never be known as dropouts. They are the 1.2 million members of Rotary, everyday people working together to push hope forward. Rotary, humanity in motion.
Rotarians function in 33,000 clubs across the globe, in more places, in more communities than any other club or society or organization or institution ever known in the history of man on this planet, with the exception of religious and government entities. So what is it that makes it worthwhile, and how do we go about meeting the challenge of getting people to see the value of Rotary membership? One of the most perplexing things, it seems to me, is educating people about what it is that Rotary does. I was in Sofia, Bulgaria, on a blistering cold winter night, 1 week before Christmas, in 2001, just 2 or 3 months after 9/11. But 2,000 people were in this grand ballroom, the royal family of Bulgaria, the prime minister of the country, and that night we chartered 12 new Rotary clubs, 10 new Interact clubs, 10 new Rotaract clubs, and 2 new Interact clubs. It was a momentous night for Rotary anywhere, yet alone in Bulgaria. And each of the new clubs had all of their charter members there, or most of them there, on this bitter cold night. And as I gave the charter to each new club president, the members of his or her club, I think they were all male as I recall them, but I'm not completely sure about that, stood up and cheered because their president got the charter for their brand new club, and they were Rotarians. I came to the last one, and I looked around it because I thought, this can't be the president of the club. The kid is so young and so skinny. I mean, I thought, geez, he's not out of high school. There he was, and he had his heads down, kind of looking at the cement floor as if if I discovered how old he was, I wasn't going to let him be a club president. I said, what's your name? He told me. What do you do? He gave me some occupation that I didn't understand. Where are you from? Only a town in Bulgaria, which I didn't know. How long did it take you to get here? Well, we had to drive 18 hours in the snow. 18 hours in the snow. And I looked at him and I said, how old are you? He kind of shuffled and he said, well, Mr. President, I'm 24. But I promise you, he said, quickly, I'm going to be a good club president. I looked at him and I said, and I stopped the whole proceedings. I said, I want to ask you something. What is it that has attracted a 24-year-old kid in a country 60 years under communist rule, who knows nothing about the West, capitalism, free enterprise? What is it that has attracted you to Rotary? And this is what he said to me. President Rick, my generation wants to make a difference. The world is smaller. The 21st century's got to be better than the 20th century was. We want to do something. Oh, we want to make a good living. We want to fund our families. We want to have success in our business and professions, which is a human need for everybody. But he said, we want to make a difference. And I wanted to do something. And one day, somebody told me about an organization which had its origins in the United States, which is the most prestigious international service club in the world. And they told me what Rotary does. Polio Plus, malaria, measles, dengue fever, RILA, Interact, Rotaract, Youth Act, Early Act, Rotary Foundation scholarships so that young people from around the globe can get the benefit of good educations on your money and mine. Millions and millions of trees planted across the globe. Sight restored to thousands of people in a weekend in India. 2.5 billion children immunized against polio across the globe. Water wells being dug throughout the third world. The world's largest privately funded literacy program with a special emphasis on the third world girl child. On and on and on. Water wells that Dave Wood has dug so beautifully throughout Mexico. On and on and on. The programs of Rotary in terms of its service are vast. And he said, President Rick, when I discovered that that's what Rotary does, I said, that's what I want to do. Why didn't I know this before? I was 24 years old. That's what I want to do. And I thought to myself, bingo. We've got to get these people. Because they want to do what Rotary already does. Now, how do we do that? But let me just give you a couple of concepts that came out of Rotary's Global Quest when we did that 75,000 new member net growth. First, you have to have a specific goal. What's the goal this year? 200 new members net? It's not enough to say we're just going to get new members. That's a prescription, in my judgment, for failure. And I tell you, these ideas are not original with me. I was on the original committee, which was charged with the idea and responsibility of raising hundreds of millions of dollars for Polio Plus. And we didn't have a clue how to do it. And so we hired a fundraising organization in New York City, paid them $4.4 million up front to teach us how to raise $120 million our first year in Polio Plus. We raised $250,000. We doubled what our goal was. And they said the first thing you got to do is you got to have a specific goal. And it's got to be defined in each club. How many net members this year is your club going to achieve? What is the goal? Second, you got to have a business plan like any business to get to the goal. We'll just ask. I learned a long time ago when I was in college, some insurance executive said, we learned that if you ask 7 people, 4 will say they'll talk to you and 2 people will buy. Well, it's amazing to me when a 23-year-old kid in Bulgaria has got to go out of his way to find out what Rotary does, and then says and his club all stood up and cheered. And there were about 40 of them. And they were all 20s and 30s. And they were ready to do Rotary's work. And I thought, well, there's a future for Rotary in this country. So what we have to do is have a business plan that makes it work. Another business plan. Have a bring a guest seminar. I've done this in a lot of places. I just finished one in Fresno not so long ago. Cliff Doctorman does them. And what they do is the members of the club invite people to learn about Rotary in the community. And you come to a reception 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you have some heavy hors d'oeuvres, and then you meet and mix and this and that, one thing and another. And there's just no pressure. It's just to find out what Rotary's doing in the community. You're a community leader. We'd like you to come. And then along about 6 o'clock or so, they bring me on or somebody to come on and speak for a half an hour about what Rotary is all about. Every time we've done that, without exception, they picked up at least 6 new members for that club. People don't know what we do. And we are successful business and professional executives in Rotary. It's amazing to me how we approach the Rotary approach like second graders instead of the college-educated or sophisticated business and professional people we are. Third, you got to work the plan. Every week, the president of the club has got to stand up and take 5 minutes out of the meeting, maybe 10, call on people who report, how's it doing, induct the new members, and work the plan. You can't just announce it in July, and then again in November, and then again in March, and think you're going to increase your members. And fourth, you have to recognize the people who have worked hard to make the plan a success. Because in Rotary, peer recognition is why we do it. They're all self-serving reasons except one. The first 19 are self-serving. They make you better educated every week in the affairs of your community. You hear speakers and programs. They make you a better speaker. They make you better socially. They make you a citizen of the world because you're welcome at every Rotary club. As you travel, you get the benefits of Rotarians helping you with travel and medicine and legal matters. And as I've had people, the self-serving benefits of friendship. That's how we all started. Everybody needs friends, people who care about them. and love them. We all need that. That's a tremendous need in the human spirit.